watch Royal Rumble 2015 or did I watch WrestleMania 29? Holy shit, that was a controversial weekend to say the least. The internet is freaking out. I could not resist coming up here and talking about this subject a little bit more. I know I came up last night and had a Royal Rumble reaction video where I gave my thoughts on the horrible booking of the Royal Rumble match and the very disappointing ending with Roman Reigns, and it just amazes me the level of feedback I've been getting, not only on that video, but I've been seeing all over the fucking internet regarding Roman Reigns and this whole Royal Rumble situation. Now, to me, what I've found as I've been observing all day the reaction to the Royal Rumble is the IWC, or whatever you want to call it, are completely out of their fucking minds. Come on, guys. Are you fucking serious? Canceling WWE Network, all this fucking boycotting talk again? It's like John Cena just won his 20th WWE title or something. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't understand how people can take it to such extremes. There was stories last night in Philadelphia that fans were blocking wrestlers' cars and not allowing them to leave. I don't know how true that was, or setting shit on fire or whatever, almost creating little miniature riots because they were literally that mad about a fake fucking wrestling match. Jesus Christ, get a hold of yourself. Do you know how stupid and foolish you look? This is a wrestling show. I have no problem with you being disappointed. As a matter of fact, anybody that was giving me shit today, I hear the same shit from them. We have the right to be mad, and we have the right to be angry, and this and that, and we don't want to take it anymore, and how can you criticize us for that? You're not fucking listening. If you listened to my commentary last night, how many fucking times did I say that I was just as disappointed as everybody else was about the outcome of the Royal Rumble? I hated it as much as anyone did. I'm not saying you don't have the right to be mad. What I'm saying is you don't have the right to be a psychopath. You think I liked seeing that shit? Of course not, but after the Rumble was done and I was done tweeting, I went right on with my life. Didn't give it a second thought. Never once would I ever consider canceling my WWE Network subscription. Really? $10? That's your big solution? What are you gonna do when WrestleMania rolls around in 2 months and you want to see the thing and you've given up your network subscription? You're gonna pay 50 or 60, 70 bucks for it on pay-per-view and give WWE 3 times more money than you would have if you would have just stayed subscribed to the network? Does that make any sense? I suppose you could stream it online, but there's no guarantees there. I just think it's fucking retarded. I mean, in a way, it's actually brilliant. I will give you that, because cancel WWE Network was trending on Twitter. It was like the #1 trend all fucking day. I couldn't believe it. And you know how crazy WWE is over their WWE Network subscriptions. So if you want to kick them in the balls, I suppose that's a pretty smart way to do it. But are you really going to get enough people to do it to where the WWE is even going to feel it or notice it? Of course not. It's going to trend for a couple of days. And of course, the IWC has the attention span of a fucking gerbil. So of course, it's going to fizzle away and die. And nobody's going to talk about this canceled WWE Network shit again in a week or two from now. It's like when John Cena won and everybody was threatening to boycott. If you're really that pissed off, then if Raw actually would have taken place tonight, then that arena needed to be empty. If everybody was really that upset about what WWE did with Roman Reigns, then don't show up to the fucking show. That will hurt them a lot more than you canceling your WWE subscription only to resubscribe to it probably a week or two later when you're over the whole fucking thing. And my biggest problem with these jackoffs that are taking it to such an extreme is that when they're listening to this commentary, they're listening to my voice right now, they're going to dislike the shit out of this video and they're going to go in the comments and accuse me of blindly accepting what the WWE is giving me, or, being happy that Roman Reigns won, basically not listening at all and only hearing what they want to hear. It's deja fucking vu. I went through the same shit with these Cena-hating mouth breathers for years, and I'm not about to get into it now with Roman Reigns. Now we've got a whole nother John Cena we've got to worry about and talk about, so I'm not going to waste my breath defending the guy. I agree with everybody's complaints on Roman Reigns. I thought the WWE booked the Royal Rumble like a bunch of fucking retards. So far, Roman Reigns is not connecting. He's bad at promos. They're scripted. I understand each and every single complaint about the guy, but what I am not going to do is to take it to such a level to where, I literally want to burn the goddamn WWE headquarters down. It is not that big a deal. I mentioned last night that you should be used to this type of behavior from the WWE by now. This is the way they do things now. This is the way it is. It will never go back to the way it was. Don't act like this is the first time WWE's been ridiculous. You know them better than that. This is the type of shit we've come to expect from them, and it's not a matter of just accepting it. I'm not necessarily accepting it. Well, I guess I am, but really not on the level that you're thinking. I'm not necessarily pleased about the booking of the Royal Rumble and Roman Reigns winning and getting the spot and somebody else not getting it, and the way the WWE seems to be pushing and forcing Roman Reigns a little bit. I totally understand that, totally. But it's so over the top with some people that it's just a little bit disheartening to know that this is the type of shit that people take so seriously. Guess what? If you're pissed off that Roman Reigns won the Royal Rumble, wait till you hear about life. Wait till you experience what life throws at you. It's a hell of a lot worse than some guy that you don't fucking like winning the Royal Rumble. What the fuck did Roman Reigns ever do to you? All I ever hear from people, push new stars, stop holding people back. We want new stars, new stars, new stars. Here you've got a new star and you're shitting all over the guy. So what you mean to say is push new stars, but only push the new stars that we agree with. That doesn't make any sense. I think a lot of this is half WWE's stupidity and half the fans also never being happy. You guys like to complain. Don't act like you don't. The fact that a guy in his mid-20s is winning the fucking Royal Rumble and you're having a conniption fit over it shows me that you love to complain. You guys get off on it just as much as anybody does, and it's disturbing as hell. How do you ever expect to get married? How do you ever expect to meet anybody, or have social relationships with anybody when you act this immaturely? Women are going to flee from you as if you were ISIS with an attitude like that. You need to grow the fuck up. There's a gigantic difference between someone like me who was very disappointed in the Royal Rumble, but pretty much left it at that, and people like some of the insane haters out there that are going absolutely apeshit over this. All of a sudden, John Cena doesn't seem so bad. Imagine that. This reminds me of 2006. Imagine if John Cena and Roman Reigns wrestled at WrestleMania the way John Cena fought Triple H. Now John Cena is the new Triple H and Roman Reigns is the new John Cena. At WrestleMania 22, the fans warmed back up to Triple H and they were rooting for him in that match, a guy that they hated more than anybody else in the world. It just strikes me as odd. I mean, the movie is not over. That's the way some of these people are acting. They're acting like this is the end of the story or something. This is the beginning of the story. There is a lot of room to move here, and, when Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns start developing their feud, who knows what can happen? I know it wasn't the greatest of circumstances at the Royal Rumble. I would hope that nobody has too much against Roman Reigns, the guy. I feel horrible for him that the fans are shitting all over him, and he's just been given an opportunity. And if you watched tonight's goofy-ass Raw, which I'll get to in a minute, Roman Reigns in his interview, it was kind of cool. He did not deny. He actually acknowledged that he's been handpicked by the higher-ups, so that could be woven into the storyline and be a big part of it. And I think it's a little too early to crucify the whole thing yet. There's a lot they can still do, and who knows what they can come up with. And we'll get into a little bit of that in a minute as far as Monday Night Raw and WrestleMania 31. But just to finish up my feelings on the latest IWC freakout, I just think people need to act like adults, which is a very uncomfortable thought for most people in the IWC. I get that. I wish fans could find a way to control their anger. It speaks volumes for the youth of today when I see some of the reaction of these people. I think back to when I was a kid, trust me, and I've been watching wrestling a long fucking time. For the majority of the young little jerk-offs that are complaining so hard, I've been watching wrestling before their parents even met, much less gave birth to his dumbass. So I'm not completely clueless on the matter, okay? And when I was that age, when I was younger, when I was watching wrestling and taking it a little bit more seriously, if somebody I didn't like or didn't want to see won, it was just, I went right on with my fucking day, continued to cheer for the guys that I wanted to win. How many times I saw Bret Hart, have to take a back seat to Lex Luger? Did it ruin my life? Was I canceling my WWE magazine subscription? No. I didn't give a fuck. It was fucking wrestling. It was a form of entertainment that I watched on TV. If I didn't enjoy watching that entertainment anymore, I wouldn't fucking watch it. So if all you guys are serious about canceling your WWE Network subscription, then you also have to be serious about not watching the product anymore. And you know just as well as I do that that is not going to fucking happen. Every single person last night after the Royal Rumble that said they were never watching again watched Monday Night Raw tonight. I guarantee it. You're full of shit and you're acting like a fucking baby. If you are fed up with WWE disappointing you over and over and over again, you better quit watching because they will never stop. And don't act like you know how to book either. I saw a few people today say, we're going to cancel our WWE Network subscription and boycott the WWE until they give us Daniel Bryan. What is this, fucking last year? They already went through this last year. As it pertains to Daniel Bryan, look, I actually root for the guy. I love Daniel Bryan. I would love to see him back on top. What he accomplished last year at WrestleMania 30 was one of my favorite nights in the history of the professional wrestling business, but the guy has been out for a year. I just don't know if he would have even been the right guy to win the Royal Rumble. And if you notice, I really think they're going to make that part of the storyline. I wish Daniel Bryan would have stayed in there longer. They eliminated him very early. You could see the look on his face. The camera went right to him. The crowd booed the shit out of it. He had the interview on tonight's canceled WWE Raw from WWE headquarters with Renee Young, I believe, where he acknowledged that he wanted to be that guy. He wanted to come back, and get back his World Heavyweight title that he never lost. He wanted to win the Royal Rumble and go on to face Brock Lesnar in this wonderful built-in storyline that's just waiting there for him. Daniel Bryan said that Brock Lesnar is the ultimate Goliath and he's the ultimate David, and it would have been a great story. You're right, Daniel Bryan. It would have been a great story, but they already launched you last year. You got the big celebration. Brock Lesnar is in this position to get someone over. Daniel Bryan is already over. If you can believe that, yes, he is. I know people aren't really thrilled with the choice of Roman Reigns, but he is the choice. Daniel Bryan cannot get launched any more than he was last year. He defeated 3 icons in one night to win the World Heavyweight title. This year, it's got to go to somebody else. Now, WWE has decided that somebody else is Roman Reigns. I agree it might not be great, but I also think that it has the potential to be okay. Roman Reigns is young. He is big. That's kind of what the storyline is calling for. Brock Lesnar's been so dominant ever since he ended the streak last year that when you think in the terms of booking, it seems like he would finally have to run into a brick wall that he cannot conquer at some point, and that brick wall is Roman Reigns. But the problem is, which I agree with, I just want to reiterate that I agree with the problems of Roman Reigns. That way people don't attack me in the comments for sucking the guy's dick or something. If you do that, then you're proving to me and everybody else that you do not fucking listen. But I do agree with most of the issues, and one of those big issues was that it was very predictable. We saw this Roman Reigns shit coming from a mile away, and it just goes to show that the WWE, when they get their mind set on something, they don't fucking let up. Now, I also want to say that I don't think that this is exactly like last year. Yes, it amazed me that the WWE made the same mistake in the Royal Rumble match when the crowd was having none of it. They were clearly pissed off, and they went ahead and went on with their stupid-ass plan anyway. This year is a little bit different because Roman Reigns is not Batista. And don't forget how over Roman Reigns was in last year's Royal Rumble. People were going nuts over the guy, and they were pissed as hell when he was the one tossed over last in last year's Royal Rumble. Now they're pissed that he's the winner. Can you see how these fans seem fickle? They don't know which way is up. The only thing that's up is their heads in their asses. Just make up your fucking mind is all. WWE did a horrible job booking the Royal Rumble, but was it to the point where you really need to riot? Does it really piss you off that bad? You need to move to a warm climate and start smoking weed, because that's fucking ridiculous. And start looking at this shit a little bit more, laid back, I guess. I just couldn't imagine being this mad. I get pretty mad. Last year, I did come up here right around this time after the Batista shit, and I did rip the WWE a new asshole, and then 3 weeks later, I was eating my words because they gave us a great storyline and something great with Daniel Bryan going into WrestleMania 30. Who's to say that WrestleMania 31 can't be great? A lot of people have said to me that WrestleMania 31 is a throwaway WrestleMania. Maybe it is, because when you look back at things, they tend to, it's hard to get 2 great ones right in a row. If you think back to how bad WrestleMania 27 was, that horrible WrestleMania, and then 28 was good, and then 29 sucked again, and then 30 was good. So we may be due for a sucky WrestleMania. I totally understand that. But, can you at least be a little bit optimistic? Only in this crazy world of the WWE Universe and the IWC can being optimistic and trying to be a little bit positive be considered foolish. That's ridiculous. Be positive. Why do you have to be so fucking negative? In my commentary right after the Royal Rumble, I did a fair amount of criticizing the WWE and also also trying to look on the bright side, but that wasn't good enough for a lot of people. You either have to be 1,000,000% against everything the WWE does, or you are their enemy. Well, that's fucking stupid. That's not logical, that makes no sense, and that's fucking ignorant. I think we all need to grow up and behave like adults because it is WrestleMania time. We should be getting some pretty awesome television leading up between now and WrestleMania. Don't forget who the WWE champion is. It's Brock Lesnar. This guy is massively over. And if you really hate Roman Reigns so bad, then you should enjoy this feud because Brock's going to wind up being the babyface. That's one thing I did enjoy about the Philadelphia crowd last night at the Royal Rumble is that when the WWE starts fucking up, I love it when a crowd will let them know it. And I was hoping that Philly they just took a dump on everything. Last year it was the same thing. I can't remember where the Royal Rumble was now, but once people started realizing what was going to happen with Batista, I loved that they booed the shit out of it. I love that they booed his return when he came out on Raw and all that stuff. The fans should let the WWE know that. So if they keep doing that on TV, WWE might have no choice but to do what they did last year and maybe insert somebody in or tweak something up to at least appease the fans a little bit. But, in my mind, I would say try to get behind the idea of the match because Brock Lesnar is in it and Brock Lesnar is the fucking man. I loved the way he was doing his interviews tonight on the WWE headquarters, rip-off pre-show Juno bullshit they had going on. I love his attitude. It looks like they're building this feud around the fact that Brock Lesnar has no respect for anybody, and that includes Roman Reigns. I love his I don't give a fuck attitude. I love that. Man, I really hope he doesn't leave. He is the best thing WWE has going. He is a huge attraction, a huge draw, a huge moneymaker. Pay this motherfucker anything it takes to get him to stick around. I do not want him to leave. But you can kind of see the writing on the wall. Brock's going to be that badass that doesn't respect anybody, and you saw when the two of them shook hands tonight, he says, I don't respect you. And Roman Reigns said, well, you will. So that is your storyline right there. And Brock is probably going to do things like annihilate the Usos at some point on Monday Night Raw because during Roman Reigns' interview, they really tied in his family. I wouldn't even be surprised to see The Rock get involved in this thing. How cool would that be? What if The Rock was there at some point to get involved just a little bit in the feud? I don't know if he'd necessarily be involved in the WrestleMania match or something like that, but see The Rock, the way we did at the Royal Rumble. I felt bad for The Rock too. You think he wanted to be in Philadelphia in fucking January on the verge of a blizzard? Fuck that shit. He wants to be in Miami. But he went up there to work for the WWE and make an appearance at this Royal Rumble to try to help his cousin get over with these jerk-off fans, and it didn't work. And I'm sorry, Philly fans. I don't mean to call you jerk-offs. I actually liked your behavior the other night. The WWE deserved every bit of shit you were giving him. But it's really hard to think that you weren't disrespecting The Rock a little bit. He had to feel horrible and he had to feel very weirded out why, people are just, shitting all over his cousin like that. And it just sucked. I mean, The Rock came back and got physical in the ring, something we haven't seen him do in a while. And I think the fans were so mad that Roman Reigns had won the Royal Rumble. They didn't care. They didn't give a shit about the people's elbow. But if he made that appearance in the Royal Rumble and he stood side by side and acknowledged that Roman Reigns is a family member of his, I could see them tying that in to the storyline with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns at WrestleMania. Now, I totally understand that if the WWE continues to script Roman Reigns promos the way they were doing it, it's probably not going to work and it's going to fall flat on its face because, Roman Reigns, you think about Brock Lesnar, the way he was talking, he's like, I don't give a fuck. Roman Reigns has got these Vince McMahon scripted type promos where he just doesn't talk very real. I would like to see Roman Reigns be real, get in Brock's face, be intense, speak from the heart almost. He's got this stupid language like, I am going to defeat you and all this stupid shit. You know what I'm talking about. It's just not believable. If you're in a fight like this with two bulls, the proven veteran, unstoppable beast champion against the new young buck, you can really do some great things with that. But the way WWE writes things and the way they're treating Roman Reigns, gearing him towards the younger audience, which is what they're doing, I just worry that the promos in the ring are gonna fucking suck. So what these guys need to do is to have some kick-ass brawls. I think it would be stupid to say Roman Reigns isn't capable of having a good match. We all loved the fucking guy when he was in the Shield. Don't forget, a lot of you know what a big Shield mark I was. And most of the people that hate Roman Reigns right now, you loved his ass 2 years ago as well, and don't say you didn't. So I think when you take his potential to have a good match and you add that to him working with Brock Lesnar, the two of them might be able to put on a memorable show. At least we can only hope. You can't be cynical enough to say, oh, good mic work, that match is going to suck. You don't know shit until you see it. So all I'm saying, just to finish up this Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, Royal Rumble, this huge fiasco that's been going going on, I just want to end it with this. Just be cool. I mean, what the fuck? I absolutely refuse to go through this shit on a weekly basis on this commentary. I am not going to let Roman Reigns be John Cena 2.0, and I absolutely refuse to engage with any of these over-the-top idiots. But I think it's time for people to stop taking this shit so seriously and stop making yourself look foolish. It is not the end of the world. It is not a big deal. And like I said, the story does not end here. We all made that mistake as if the story ended here last year when Batista won. And what happened? You know, WWE turned things around on us. So at least give them a chance. You knew Roman Reigns winning was a big possibility. Daniel Bryan, who's to say you're not going to love what he does going into WrestleMania? And guess what? They're still keeping that dream and that desire and that goal of his to regain his WWE Championship. They're still keeping that storyline alive. They're still acknowledging that he has not lost that belt. Daniel Bryan will get his opportunities again. He's just not going to be able to main event this year's WrestleMania. I'm sorry. I don't think I'm wrong for believing that that is okay. That guy got the moment of a lifetime at last year's WrestleMania. That's an impossible thing to duplicate, and I think if they brought him right back and threw him right back into that position for WrestleMania 31, you know, unfortunately, Daniel Bryan just suffered from bad luck. He got injured, he wasn't able to enjoy his title run, and now it's someone else's time. But Daniel Bryan will have his time again, and I have no doubt that Daniel Bryan will get title shots in the future. Don't forget, Seth Rollins is Mr. Money in the Bank. He'll probably hold that belt at some time. Roman Reigns will probably hold that belt at some time. I know they'll work in a way to get Daniel Bryan a title shot. There is a lot that lies ahead in 2015. So if being optimistic is considered being a blind, dumb WWE sheep fanboy, then you're a blind, dumb fucking bucket of cunts. If anybody's being blind here, it's people that accuse me of that. So you need to listen and just think logically. That's it. Now, as far as the rest of the complaining goes, then I'm right there with you. If you can complain logically, and if you can complain like a goddamn person and a human fucking being, and just say, yeah, WWE's fucking retarded. That was ridiculous. I can't believe they did that shit 2 years in a row and did not learn from their mistakes with Batista and did the same thing to Roman Reigns. And now poor Roman is suffering for it because he's going to get booed out of the building every single time he comes out there. It's foolish booking by WWE. Agree 100%, you know? And that's what I think we need to talk about is some of that shit and how the WWE can rectify it. Now, unfortunately, their plans got completely fucked over by this goddamn winter storm that is blanketing the Northeast and killing them with a blizzard. They had to cancel Raw. How many times has this happened ever? Not very many times. A post-pay-per-view Raw was canceled. Royal Rumble, no less. I mean, WWE had big plans for tonight. They were going to plant that first seed, probably with Rusev and John Cena and Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar and Daniel Bryan and maybe whoever he's going to work with and all that shit. They weren't able to do it. Everything is postponed and canceled. I guess there is going to be no Raw. There will be a SmackDown, and then Raw will return live next week. But we really got robbed. I wanted to see Raw tonight. I wanted to see how the fans were going to react to Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar. And hopefully we don't have to wait too long to see that. Hopefully Brock is booked for some more Monday Night Raws here, and he's not going to be off of TV until after Fastlane. Is that the name of the next pay-per-view? I guess I'm glad the Elimination Chamber is gone, but Fastlane, goddamn. It reminds me, what's that other dumb one? Payback, the one in June or whatever. What's wrong with Backlash? What the fuck? What's wrong with No Way Out, Unforgiven? Come on, WWE. Give us that shit back. These names are ridiculous. But I'm hoping we don't have to wait until after Fastlane to see Brock Lesnar again. I really want to see how him and Roman Reigns are going to interact. I want to see what their brawls look like, and I want to see how Roman Reigns performs. And if we know we're not going to get anything out of him on the mic, you know, maybe we'll get something out of him in the ring. And I think that's the best we can hope for. A lot of people have mentioned him going heel. That wouldn't be bad. I would love that idea, but I think the WWE is hell-bent on making him a babyface merchandise selling machine. I think that's what they want him to do. So if he did go heel, then those plans would be out the window. But I think back when Brock was champion, getting ready to face the Big Show. Remember when Paul Heyman turned on Brock Lesnar? Maybe they do something like that. Maybe if Brock is going to leave for the UFC, you know, maybe with the intent of coming back to the WWE in a year or two after he has a couple UFC fights, maybe he can say, okay, Paul's going to turn on me, you know, join up with Roman Reigns. Roman can be heel. Paul can be his mouthpiece, because Paul Heyman talked a lot about how much he respected Roman Reigns and how much he knew and worked with his family throughout the years. So there's definitely the connection there. So if Paul Heyman were to turn on Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns goes heel, Brock leaves for the UFC, he can come back in as a babyface with a built-in storyline whenever he wants. That could be an option for the WWE. But like I said, I think they have too many high monetary plans for Roman Reigns, and they want to squeeze every nickel out of him that they can, and that's why I think they want to try to keep him a babyface. So we'll have to see how things go on WWE TV. I wish the fans would have behaved a little less like assholes to where I would have been able to talk about this situation, a little bit more, because it really does truly piss me off. I didn't like what the WWE did. They're sabotaging themselves. They're making the fans hate this guy. Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Why didn't you all get together in a room and say, okay, if we're going to make Roman Reigns the guy, maybe there's a way we can still do it without pissing the fans off as bad as we did. Maybe they can throw a twist in there somewhere, I don't know, or just give us something else than what we got in the Royal Rumble. I mean, when it was down to those last four guys, that was awful. Big Show, Kane, Ambrose, and Reigns. Of course you knew Roman Reigns was going to win. If they would have kept other guys in there or kept all the big stars in there until the end or something, maybe it would have been a little bit better. So much stuff in that match didn't make any sense at all. It just was bad. It was bad this year. It really was. I loved Bubba Dudley. I loved DDP. I loved a couple of things they did. But, even the Wyatt family shit. Eric Rowan came out there and attacked Curtis Axel, who actually was never eliminated. So Curtis Axel, he should be going to WrestleMania to face Brock Lesnar. But they had Rowan run out there just to interrupt and get in the ring for just a couple of minutes and end up brawling with the Wyatt family, and then he gets tossed out. It was just, it made no fucking sense to me at all. I'm like, who's fucking booking this? Whose idea was this? That was stupid. It was Pat Patterson's birthday. Didn't you ask for his input at all? He was in the building that night. He came up with the whole fucking concept. Why don't you get his take on it, and have him tell you how stupid you are? Although Pat is 74 now and probably a little bit senile, so it might have all been his idea to begin with. I don't know. But all in all, they just did not pull off a very good Royal Rumble. And once Daniel Bryan was eliminated, that crowd was not going to come back from that. There was no turning around. WWE in the back, they had to have been shitting themselves. They're like, oh, fuck. How did they know? How did they not know that was going to happen? That's my biggest problem. So anyway, enough about that. I am sick and tired of talking about the Royal Rumble. I started talking about Raw. They showed the entire Royal Rumble match as well as the entire triple threat WWE title match on Raw because Raw, like I said, was canceled. They ran it live from WWE headquarters with a few live interviews. Michael Cole and I think Booker T and that other guy did the show most of the night, and they showed a lot of highlights or a lot of matches from the Royal Rumble. It amazed me the people that were bitching about that on Twitter. Oh, WWE is giving it away for free. How stupid is that? Well, goddamn, there was a blizzard. It knocked out Raw. It canceled the show. They got 3 hours to fill. What did you want them to do? You want to have 3 hours of Michael Cole and Booker T talking to each other? I don't fucking think so. I thought it was pretty cool that they showed at least the World Heavyweight title match. It sucked that we had to suffer through the Royal Rumble, which was really funny. If the Royal Rumble wasn't bad enough, then they're going to give it to us again with commercials. No thanks. But the World Heavyweight title match was awesome to see again, and some of the interviews, weren't even that bad. Yeah, it was disappointing not to have Raw, but some of those, kind of intimate studio interviews like that with Seth Rollins even, I actually thought Seth Rollins might cash in the Money in the Bank in the studio because I had no idea that he was going to have a face-to-face with Brock, and Brock was going to have a face-to-face with Roman. I thought all of that was pretty cool. They probably just, condensed down and, made a studio promo out of a promo that was probably supposed to happen on Raw. I think a lot of what Paul Heyman said to Roman Reigns tonight in that studio was probably going to be said to him in the main event of Raw in the ring. So I think the WWE did their best with what they had to work with to try to further their storylines because now they're a week behind in TV, which might not be a bad thing. We can come back next week on Raw. I can't wait to see what happens. And the way the fans react to Roman Reigns moving forward will be very interesting as well. So, like I said, John Cena versus Rusev for Fastlane. I thought that was going to be a WrestleMania match, but apparently they're doing it right away next month. This makes me think one of two things. John Cena is either going to have a new opponent at WrestleMania or he will have a rematch with Rusev of some kind at WrestleMania instead. If I was a betting man, I would think that maybe Rusev gets a victory over Cena at Fastlane and then Cena, of course, beats him at WrestleMania because that's what John Cena does. But you can at least keep your fingers crossed that it might go the other way around. But hell, what do I care? It seems like Cena is not even the problem anymore. All the heat's off of him. It's all on to Roman Reigns now. Cena can kick back and relax and just enjoy his fucking life. Doesn't sound like the fans are going to care much about him unless he wins that title again. They've transferred all their psychotic anger onto Roman Reigns, and that has to make John Cena feel good. So there's still plenty of time, and there's still plenty of options for WrestleMania, and I am holding out hope for the best. If that makes me a bad person, then fucking so be it. So I think that's it. That's all I wanted to say. I wanted to come up here and voice my opinion of how I feel about the way the fans are reacting to the Royal Rumble. And like I said in the beginning, and like I said all throughout this video, do not accuse me of not having a problem with what the WWE did. All I'm saying is don't take it to such extremes that you look like a fucking idiot. Now, if you will excuse me, I think I'm going to click on the WWE Network and watch that WWE 24 show that chronicles last year's WrestleMania 30. It looks fantastic. It sucks for those of you that have canceled your subscription. You can't see it. Oh well. Until next time, peace.